Moving on to Entity A's Statement of Financial Performance for the year ended December 31, 2015, we need to compute for the revenue and expenses in order to know the surplus or deficit for the period. First, for the revenue, we have gain from changes in fair value less cost to sell of breeding stocks worth 31,900 pesos and loss on sale of biological assets worth 100 pesos, and these two was computed in journal entry B in the previous slide, which will give us the amount of 31,800 pesos as our total revenue. For the expenses, we have here salaries and wages, both the casual and contractual labor, and agricultural and marine supplies expenses, which is 2,000 pesos. So, we're going to add 6,000 pesos and 2,000 pesos, which will give us the amount of 8,000 pesos. And now, since we have the figures for revenue and expenses, we're going to deduct the expenses from the revenue, which will give us the amount of 23,800 pesos. For the reconciliation of the carrying amounts of breeding stocks as at December 31, 2015, since the biological assets were only acquired during the same year, the beginning carrying amount for the year 2015 is 0. And the increases due to purchases is 35,200 pesos, and gains arising from changes in fair value less cost to sell attributable to physical changes is 29,700 pesos, which is computed this way. First is that we have to account for the recognition date, the quantity, the current age fair value, the previous age fair value, and the difference between the current age fair value and the previous age fair value of the biological assets. And to get the amount, we're going to multiply the quantity from the difference computed. So to start, in July 1, 2015, the entity acquired 10 newborns, which has the previous age fair value of 2,000 pesos and without its current age fair value, so the difference would be 2,000 pesos multiplied by 10, which will give us the amount of 20,000 pesos. In December 31, 2015, the entity acquired 3 newborn without its current age fair value and the previous age fair value of 2,100, which will give us the difference of 2,100 multiplied by 3 will give us the amount of 6,300 pesos. And they also acquired 10 pieces of 0.5 years old with the current age fair value of 2,150 pesos and the previous age fair value of 2,100. And the difference to that is 50 pesos. When multiplied to 10 will give us the amount of 500 pesos. And then for 2.5 years old with the current age fair value of 5,400 and a previous age fair value of 5,200, and the difference is 200 pesos, will give us the amount of 400 pesos when multiplied to 2. For the 3 years old, which has the current age fair value of 5,700 pesos and previous age fair value of 5,200 pesos, which gives us the difference of 500 pesos when multiplied by 5 will give us 2,500 pesos. And then we'll add up all the amounts in the amount column and it will give us the amount of 29,700 pesos, which will then end up in the gain arising from changes in fair value less cost to sell attributable to physical changes. Next is the gains arising from changes in fair value less cost to sell attributable to price changes, which gives us the amount of 2,200 and is computed this way. First, we have to account for the date recognized, the quantity, the current fair value of the biological assets, which is the fair value of the breeding stocks of the same age when the breeding stocks were recognized. And next is the previous fair value, or PFV, which is the fair value of the breeding stocks on the previous recognition date. Its difference and amount. So first, in December 31, 2015, the entity acquired 10 0.5 years old, which has the current fair value of 2,100 and previous fair value of 2,000, which has a difference of 100 pesos. When multiplied by 10 will give us the amount of 1,000 pesos. And they also acquired two 2.5 years old, which has the difference of the current fair value and previous fair value of 100 pesos. When multiplied by 2 will give us the amount of 200 pesos. And lastly, they also acquired 3 years old in the quantity of 5, which has the current fair value of 5,200 and previous fair value of 5,000 pesos, which will give us a difference of 200 pesos and the amount of 1,000 pesos. To add up all the amounts, it would result to 2,200 pesos, which is presented in our reconciliation statement. Last item on our reconciliation of the carrying amount of breeding stocks is the decreases due to sales worth 5,700 pesos. To sum up all the amounts in the reconciliation of the carrying amount of breeding stocks, it will give us the amount of 61,400 pesos, which will then be our carrying amount as of the year end December 31, 2015. And that would be all for Chapter 11. Thank you for listening.